Back now on Triad today, just about time for the Roundtable. Quick shout out and thanks to the good folks here at the Senior Botanical Garden. Check out their website. Come and visit the garden. You can do all sorts of events here. We hope you will. Again, before we get to the Roundtable, a couple sad notes to report. Last week, our friend, a lot of us really love this lady, Jeannie Robertson, passed away age 77. She was on Triad today several times, a great humorist, a former Miss North Carolina, and you can't replace her, but you can go and watch her stuff on YouTube. Great lady. Also, a friend of mine passed away, not necessarily recently. He passed away at the end of last year during the pandemic. His memorial service, Jack Markham's memorial service, is coming up on September 4th. I mentioned that because back in the day when I was actually working for television stations, he was the best boss I ever had. He spent almost 30 years at Channel 2 in Greensboro, WFNY, and was responsible for all the local programming and really gave me a chance to do all sorts of things and spread my wings and try things and do programs. And I wouldn't be around here if it wasn't for Jack Markham. He was 93 years old. All right, guys, let's get to the Roundtable. Ogie Overman on the right, but always the political left. And back behind us, we have held over David Daggett from his previous segment talking about that great backpack program, and then Keith Granberry, founder of Helping Hands Consultants. Guys, the COVID variant is spreading so fast that a primary physician in Alabama now refuses to see any patient who isn't vaccinated. Are you okay with a doctor not seeing unvaccinated patients, Ogie?
I am, Jim, but I wanted to mention, echo what you said about Jeannie Robertson. She was a dear, dear friend of mine, and her husband, Jerry, just passed away a few months ago.
That's right.
I didn't know until right then that she had died.
Great lady.
But yeah, I have no problem with it, seeing that. Heck with it.
I don't know, from a legal standpoint, David, what do you think? Is
well,
okay?
I think that story is actually a little bit deeper than that, and I think that one of the concerns the doctor had is he doesn't want the contaminated people coming into his office because he's got other people in his office that he's caring for, and he wants to care for his patients. He doesn't want to see his patients die unnecessarily. I think he should be allowed to do that, and I think the vaccine, despite the debates and everything else, it's pretty common knowledge now, particularly now that we have a full approval. You should get the vaccine.
Right. Keith, is it okay, you think, for a doctor to not see patients unless they're vaccinated?
Absolutely not. I don't think it's okay. I think that people need to go into the doctor's office. Many times they're being educated on the issues that's going on, and I think
wear a mask
and move forward. I don't think it's okay for them to do that.
One Triad area company, I'm not going to mention their name, there are a couple, but one in particular has given its employees 30 days to get vaccinated or else they're gone. State of Montana says this kind of thing is discriminatory, and they're not allowing it. I don't know if that's going to spread around to other states. Anyway, do you think that employees who, let's say, ostensibly get fired or have to leave because they will not get a vaccine, do they have any legal recourse? Will they try to, do you think that we're going to see litigation? Ogie?
Possibly, but I'm for the employer axing them. I've gotten really hardcore about this thing, Jim. It's time to get facts.
Are we going to see a lot of lawsuits of people that might lose their job?
Now, under the current state of the law in North Carolina, there's not a cause of action for that. Now, if the state or the feds would step in with some sort of legislative or regulatory protections, maybe. I don't think that's likely to happen. I don't think it's likely to happen in North Carolina. There's no case there.
Keith Granberry.
There's going to be, if there's no federal mandate, there will probably be lawsuits. I don't know how successful they are, but you use Montana in a sentence, and I don't understand Montana and vaccination in any sentence that you should be using.
The people in Montana will vaccinate their cows in Montana, but they won't vaccinate their kids.
I don't understand that statement.
The airline industry reports a spike in violent behavior, 300% up since the pandemic began. Violent behavior by passengers, and they now are finally admitting that alcohol is a factor. So American Airlines, for example, stopped serving any alcohol. They said they might resume it next year. Now, we know that a lot of passengers drink before they get on. So we got two things going here: the alcohol, the bad behavior, and COVID is spreading too. Guys, would you like to see all passengers submit to a temperature check for COVID and a breathalyzer test before boarding? Ogie?
No, temperature check is fine, but if you've been drinking and you get on the plane and want to keep drinking, you're going to get mad if you can't get another drink. I duct tape them all. I just duct tape them. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, Jim.
I think you can have a temperature check and safety precautions. Regarding the alcohol, that's a really interesting issue. I have a friend who's a flight attendant. just spoke with her earlier this week, and she says it's a concern for her going to work because she knows there's a significant chance of some violent behavior.
Right.
I think what we need is some enforcement in that, put some teeth into it, and start deterring this behavior before it happens.
Keith, a breathalyzer and a temperature check. What do you think?
Temperature check, yes. No breathalyzer. I think number one, you need to have more security on the planes. I think people's behavior is not because of alcohol, it's because of a lot of varied things that are going on in their life right now based on this COVID, but I would have more security on the planes.
All right, Davidson College just created a Black Studies course titled #AbolishPolice. Not surprisingly, many Charlotte area police officers are angry and offended by this. Should Davidson College cancel the course, retitle it, or leave it as is? Ogie.
Another troglodyte Republican candidate for office gets his wings.
So you think
Every
that,
time.
you think they ought to leave it alone?
That's absurd. And I love Davidson. I love that college. They're progressive. They're great. But that's absurd.
All right.
I don't like it. I would have to know more about it. Lots of times, college professors give an inflammatory name to their course to attract students to look into the course. And in fact, the course may have exactly the opposite theme and agenda to it. But do I like it? No, I don't like it.
Keith, what do you think?
I think the professor who named it probably lives in a neighborhood that don't need police. He probably lives in a very safe, secure neighborhood. That's what I believe. So I think it's crazy.
Professor Whitebread.
That's exactly right. So I think that we shouldn't be abolishing any police right now.
Very quickly, Greensboro City Councilperson Michelle Kennedy resigned last week, and one day later, she accepted a job as director of the city's neighborhood development department. Nothing wrong with that, nothing illegal, but quickly, guys, are you okay with an elected official who's overseeing the government step down and take a job with that same government, or should there be a waiting period?
No, that happens all the time, Jimmy. I know her. She's great. She'll do wonderful in that.
David.
Yeah, as long as you have a process to confirm it's a valid hire, I'm fine with it. You're probably getting the best people that way.
Yeah, Keith.
I'm not fine with that. Sometimes people lose their jobs and then they're looking at other people's position and they have the authority to get rid of those people. I'm not fine with that. They need to be a waiting period.
Okay, finally, last week, a Florida man came home to discover a naked woman swimming in his pool. He immediately called the police, had her arrested. Guys, if you found a woman skinny dipping in your swimming pool, would you have her arrested, Ogie?
I'd ask her if she's got any friends.
David, would you have her arrested?
I'd send her to Ogie's pool.
Keith, what would you do?
What would I do? I'm speechless.
The first time ever.
Yeah, we know what that is all about. All right, that's all the time we have. Except for this. Sadly, the creator of the popular puzzle Sudoku passed away last week. Now, I understand there's problems in arranging for the actual funeral service because a lot of people don't know which row to sit in. See, in Sudoku, you have those rows. You have to, never mind. We're going to David's pool after this, so we'll see you next week.